It's great to be here. My name is Travers Nicholas. I'm the Country Managing Director for Qatar and the North Gulf at Dell Technologies. I've been with the company for 17 years. It's been an amazing journey, and I'm very, very excited for the next 17 plus years. Absolutely. So Qatar's leadership are very deliberate with their actions and their planning. The Qatar National Vision has a very important piece on growth of the ICT community, growth of the ICT economy. And that forms what is the digital agenda for the country. Inside the digital agenda is the National AI Strategy and Vision. So the National AI Strategy and Vision was released a few years ago, and Qatar is executing towards that very steadily, but with very good calculated progress. So how do I see it progressing, and how is Dell Technologies participating? First of all, every single entity in the country, whether it's public sector, private sector, every single entity is exploring or already using AI in some way, shape, or form in their organization. As we move from AI to agentic AI, and perhaps in the future physical AI, what's changing is that we're getting more use of technology, more consumption of technology. Whether you're executing your commands, agents, chats in public clouds or on-premise, the inferencing is consuming more technology. Whether it's servers, storage, networking, it's consuming large amounts of technology. So what we're seeing is that, yes, there is adoption. Different entities are adopting faster than others, but all entities are building their strategies and their plans. And really, what seems to be the bottleneck, not in Qatar, but in the whole world, is energy. Energy ultimately is what's powering the data centers, and the data centers ultimately are what's powering AI. Fantastic. So Dell and sovereign AI, actually, Dell, I think it's well known that Dell is one of the most ethical companies in the world, rated that way every single year. And there's an element to this when it comes to AI, and specifically sovereign AI. When we think of sovereign AI, our mind automatically goes towards protecting our data and protecting our information. But there's another aspect, which is protecting our identity, protecting our culture. So AI has a role to play in ensuring that cultures of countries and identities of countries are protected in whatever the models are producing, whatever the tokens are outputting. So, for example, if I'm from New Zealand, and if an AI in New Zealand is asking the country how important is the game rugby, the AI should say it's very, very important. But if that AI was programmed in another country where rugby is not important, then it would be missing the entire culture of our country. Where we see sovereign AI is important, number one, we need to support Qatar to protect their information, to protect their most critical information. Number two, we need to help them to expand the use of that information, to create actionable outcomes with it, to empower their citizens and their residents with greater technology capability. Number three, we need to do it energy efficiently. So we all know that AI data centers and AI technology consume a lot of energy. So how can we make them more efficient with our optimized liquid cooling solutions, for example, where you can recirculate the same air, where you can use warm water cooling. There's all sorts of technologies that can optimize the energy consumption. And then how do we bring it to life fast enough so that as AI progresses, the country progresses with it? And nobody wants to be left behind. So all countries have a responsibility to make sure they're keeping up with the demands of the capabilities of AI. I think everybody knows Qatar ran the FIFA World Cup a few years back, one of the most successful global events ever. This event was protected not just by traditional physical security systems, but it was secured by a lot of AI. There was a huge amount of data collected and gathered to ensure that crowd management could be controlled well, traffic management could be controlled well, stadiums were safe, secure, clean. There was so much technology involved here. Dell Technologies was part of it, supported it, and when it specifically relates to the edge, we saw a huge amount of technology used in traffic stops in stadium systems. Inside the stadiums, there was a huge amount of technology to go in and out. In the airports, technology to help people process their visas faster so that they have a smooth experience. So edge technology has been used in Qatar for quite some time. What's starting to evolve now is the use of AI at the edge. And so, for example, if you're running a security system at an airport, you don't necessarily want to send the data all the way back to a data center to process the facial recognition of the person who's entering the country or the biometrics. You want to be able to keep that data close. So this is a good example of edge computing. Manufacturing, oil and gas, there are so many examples where edge computing is truly transforming that industry. And I would say Qatar is probably one of the leading countries when it comes to edge computing. So Dell has a big presence in Qatar. Dell has a big presence in, indeed, the region. And we decided to maintain and grow our direct presence so that we can be strategic and close to the entities to help them consume technology in the right way. That direct presence has allowed us to establish a really good understanding of the requirements of each of the different entities. So whether it's an energy sector organization, a government organization, or a private organization, those organizations all have different needs and different requirements from the technology. Some of them are common across all, and some of them are specific to the industry vertical. The way Dell participates is that we understand each of those industries as well as we possibly can, and we bring solutions that are relevant, practical, economical, and deliver value for that entity or that industry. Some of the great examples that we've shared over the years have been how we've been able to help energy companies reduce their carbon emissions in their data center footprint by using highly optimized storage technology, highly optimized server technology. Some of the new servers that we've released in our 17G range, for example, can reduce your power consumption by upwards of 30%. So if you're providing the same amount of performance, but 30% less power, that's something the energy sector, the airline industry, they're really interested to hear that. And that's the kind of thing that we're helping with as a very, very small example. Outside of that, where we really focus is on outcomes. So we like to help develop the outcome that the entity is looking for. And again, it always comes back to the country level vision, the digital agenda. Sometimes it relates to modern data centers, sometimes it relates to modern applications, sometimes it relates to edge, and sometimes it relates to AI. And security always cuts across all of these pillars. So depending on where the entity is focused, we build our team around it, we figure out how to solve the problem, and we bring the best technology to solve that problem for that organization.